Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Oh my God, I hear the sound too. That's always a good thing. Just double checking the sound. I see Janos this morning. Good morning, Janos. Good afternoon at this point too for you, almost. Almost. Let me see. Yeah, it's afternoon. That's right. So, dollar lifting up a little bit. You know, stock market not looking as bad as it started off this morning as. It's I guess the only thing we're really paying attention to in the States here is a combination of the hurricane and election stuff. That's about it. As you can see over there on the J4X, you can see we got a little red candle going on, so that's pretty good. It's breaking down. That's a good thing right there. You know, we need some lower dollar action here. It's become a runaway freight train, and we're just kind of getting tired of it over here. It's like, come on, you got to be kidding me. And and every time, just as Dow just lost about 80 points. So I guess then was it waiting GDP? Okay, so that's what came out. The final read. It was a minus first quarter. Let's see. So what's the second one? So okay, that's what drove it down a little bit there. They're still trying to figure out what the numbers are, but it looks like. See, I'm waiting for it all to pour out. Oh, okay. Oh, this is 2 quarters officially negative. Let's see, where are we at? We're in September, right? So September is getting ready. Let's see, the second quarter was the end of July. So it's all confirmed, and now we're getting ready to end. We're going into the last quarter, the third quarter. At the end of October will be the third quarter. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much the name of the game there, is that kind of noise going on there. I guess the best thing we can say about any of it is that we already know that, and maybe bonds will, kind of, as it was down 0.6 actual versus an estimated 0.6. So it came in exactly where they were thinking. Bonds are up. The value of a bond is up. The yield is down, is it? No, the yield is up. Okay, so the yield now is 3.80 on the 10-year. And the stock market's felt a little pressure from it. Nothing major there. I keep on hearing something ringing in the other room. Hold on one second. Let me just see if we can fix whatever was ringing. I hear it. Maybe the refrigerator or something like that is left open. Who knows? Let me just double check. We will be back in a matter of about 12 seconds. All right, we got rid of that ringing sound in the distance, so I'm happy about that. So anyway, what it really comes down to is that I guess they can't pretend anymore. Mr. Biden's been playing a game like, who says we're in recession? Well, we're in recession. It's official, beyond official, beyond official. And now the bigger question is that will the third quarter be in recession also? That's the bigger question. I think it's going to be very close. It's going to be very, very close. I know that at this point in time, it looks like it will be a third quarter in recession, but it'll be very close. All right. Take a sip of my tea. Let's see. Morning, is your refrigerator running? Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. It has a little alarm on it. It tells me when it was a little loose. I got something a few minutes before the webinar started. And I thought I shut it, and it was just on the edge of it. Drinking my tea. Hey, Robin. So we got an official finally. It's a recession. Oh, my goodness. I mean, the games that are played with the politics anymore are just becoming too insane. So there it is, the $2 indexes. You can see on the Chicago quant side of it there, it's got a red dot. It's down into the sell. You see over here on J4X, same thing. We got a red bar. It's below the line. You know, the same thing as like over here, doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. So we got that little weakness going on. Just really glad that we're getting some clarity of some form. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. All we want is something simple. Are we or are we not? I knew we were, but when you got a government like this that just refuses to accept reality, that is kind of freaky at times. I mean, it really is strange. I mean, when he sits in, I mean, you don't want to say a president is a liar. I mean, as much as I dislike him and so forth, we in America, we try not. Let's put it this way: my side of politics tries not to criminalize the whole thing. We try to just kind of go with the flow. But unfortunately, Mr. Biden and his party are kind of vicious in their own nature. They really are. But we try not to. They love to play it up, and we don't. We don't want to be a banana republic, and the Democrats want to be a banana republic. It's really strange. I don't know where their heads are at, but it's obviously not in logical fashion. Anyhow, let's go over to the euro this morning. Oh, you should see the cartoons. Oh, I got just a little bit. I'm not going to put. Maybe I should put one of them up there. This is I guess the way the left is interpreting it with the new prime minister to be in not there. Let's move that over. The new prime minister to be in Italy. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I think you'll get a hoot out of this. And it's unfortunate, but it is the way the left functions over here. And it's like, are you kidding me? But it's just let's see. Here we go. I'm going to show you the picture of it. It is kind of funny. There it is. There it is. Leftist in the corner there, two little children. They're the leftist. And the little bunny rabbit is the new prime minister of Italy, or the to-be prime minister of Italy. She's 5'4", blonde, and an Italian woman. And the two children are terrified of the bunny. I mean, it's just classic crazy as usual around here. Let's see, what else we got? So we got this. Let's go over to the euro against the dollar. You see it popped up nice yesterday, went into a daily buy. It's one of the only ones that's in a daily buy. Let's see, that's the wrong spot for that. Right there. And after all the carnage, I guess you could say, beating it up below the 96s, it's nice to see it try to pop up a little bit here, holding up relatively firm. It's down for the day. That weekly is not budging whatsoever, as you can see right there. So we're just kind of... Oh, there's Giannis. Let's see. Wait, they announced the recession thing? Yeah, exactly. That is what a moving market at the moment. Yes, exactly. I see final GDP. And the Canadians have positive GDP month over month compared to expected decline. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, I'll tell you, Canada seems to be really choked in many different ways. In other words, I saw where one of the premiers out west refuses to enforce. They say it's not constitutional or something. I didn't know they had a constitution, but I guess they say it's not lawful. It's just lots of strange things go on. I was impressed with the way the Mexican peso was showing strength over the last couple of days compared to against the dollar. That was kind of unique. And then it started losing it finally, and then let's see. So yeah, that was pretty much the noise of the day. The GDP, gross domestic. We're looking at. We are officially in a second quarter recession. Oh, joy. All right, from there we jump over to the euro on the J4X to take a look at it that way too. I don't know. Oh, look at that. You see, we got the green, same as we're doing over here. And you can see the lines through. So we're seeing that strength come in slow and steady, you know. All right, let's see. Who's next here on the hit parade? Let's get rid of that. What's that? Okay. I'll minimize that like that. There we go. Cable. Let's see what the cable's doing. Cable did that bounce from the thing there, and definitely looks. I think that's it's playing with its daily buy today with no problem. So it looks like they've got that going at the same time. These weeklies really need to clean themselves up, or they're just going to roll over again on us. And let's put it up over here. Right there. You see the green right there. As far as I can tell, the Prime Minister of England, she's doing all kinds of good things. She's going to be a Thatcherite, I guess you could call her. She's going to be like a Margaret Thatcher. She's going to pump up the economy. Things are going to get positive. People will probably start. Wow! I just looked over and saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 333. When we started the webinar, it was down 180. Then the numbers came out, and that's put the pressure on it. So, cable should start to show some life. I would think it'll come back up into the 115s and 20s. I really do. I think that, growth is the only way you get out of these problems financially. Yesterday's move, I guess it was, Janos said it, but they were chicken, they did the QE thing. But all they had to do is raise interest rates like another quarter point, and it probably would not have been that problem to begin with. Going a half instead of 3/4 really confused money over there. It's like, you're pushing it to America. Stop that. Just stop it. We got plenty over here. We print the stuff. It's not hard. All right. From the cable, let's jump over to the Swiss. Swiss had gone into the daily sell yesterday. You see they're lifting it back up again today, but still in that daily sell. I look at the weekly, and I think, we need it to kind of start to roll over. But then, we're coming into the last quarter, October, November, and December. So, let's see, what is that? Well, as I thought about it, there is a one way how to do it. Well, he really needed, and which way is that? From do fiscal tax cuts. Yeah, well, that's what she's already promoting the highest tax rate of 45 down to 40 to start off with. She's already pushing in that direction. And they're drilling. And they're going to start fracking again. In other words, they're going to start generating energy. So, growth is the only answer to all this. It's we've gotten to the point where, the socialism is running out. As Margaret Thatcher used to say, how did she say it again? She used to say, sooner or later you run out of other people's money. That's what it comes down to. You run out of other people's money. Now what they've done is they've just, the governments have started just printing more with the QE. That's what, I'll tell you, QE really made everybody happy on the left, without a doubt. Let's see, do fiscal tax cuts fund them with government debt that is bought by central banks? No, I think they just print the money, really. Because they're overspending. None of them are staying fiscally responsible. Fill the gap, printed money. Yeah, exactly. Give the tax cuts only to the working class with a certain income level as criteria. Well, give everybody the tax cuts. Government should never pick winners and losers. Give them all tax cuts. Every time, was it Art Laffer has written a book about that. Every time you cut taxes for everybody, there's more tax money. When you start to play games like, okay, well, this income bracket will get it, but that income bracket won't, then what you're doing is you're forcing more successful people to do less work. Nah, we want them all. We want everybody working. But I would like to see a minor experiment before that. We've already shown that experiment. It's done. It's history. Lower taxes, everything grows. Increase taxes, everything grows less, or not at all. Government pick always the majority of voter groups to get reelected. Well, at this point in time, they give away money. Right now, 57% of Americans do not pay taxes. Income tax, that is. Income taxes. 57. So 43% of Americans pay income tax. So, I hear you. But that is, if they would just lower taxes altogether, get rid of the federal income tax. Just let the states tax, food and clothing and whatever, gasoline or whatever they do. Let them tax that stuff and stop the income tax. We survived all the way up to 1912 doing that with no problem. All of a sudden we got a tax, the Civil War occurred, right? You got the Civil War. They spent the budget in 1860. The budget in 1860 was $46 million, okay, in 1860. What is that? That's 160 years ago, okay? 162 years ago. All right. The following year in 1861, with the Civil War, it cranked up to almost $1 billion, okay? What's that? 20-fold. And then, let's see, 100 million. No, it was like 2,000-fold. By the end of the Civil War, the U.S. government had spent a little more than $5 billion, okay, on the Civil War. We could have bought all the slaves for about $3 billion, a top dollar, had no war, respected state rights in the Constitution, and marched along, and not destroyed, different properties. So, they did that. We didn't have an income tax until 1913. We were able to jump. Think about the size of that. Going from $46 million as a budget to the next 4 years during the Civil War, it turned into a total of $5.4 billion. Okay, billion, not million, billion. That's 1860 to 1865. So, we didn't need income taxes to do that. So I don't understand why we need income taxes now. It's just robbery. All right, from there you see the Swiss, and let's put the Swiss up on J4X. Right there. You see 2 days of red. Same here, 2 days of red. And you can see the weekly still holding up. So we would like to see that start to roll over also. Oh yeah, politicians love to spend money to think that they can buy votes. This time around, it's going to have a problem at it. Just saw that last poll. I think I mentioned it 2 days ago here. Republicans are winning in all the battleground states and districts. Not only the states, but the districts. What they mean by battleground means that it can be either way normally. And in this case, they're up by 21%, and that was by the ABC, Washington Post, both leftist media groups. Okay, leftist, leftism, love socialism. So if their polls are reflecting that, we could be as high as 35%. How many days have I been saying around here about I think we have a shot at a congressional supermajority for the first time since 1871. All right. So there's the Swiss. From the Swiss, we go over to the Euro Turkish lira. Oh, let's see what they're doing to the dollar Turkish lira. That thing had gotten leaped up a couple days ago. Look at that. That spike is still there. And it was the same thing on J4X. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. And you got that same big spike right there. Still showing strength, but we got the line underneath, so you can't really be long. It's kind of holding you back on that. Over here, we've been lucky. Chicago Quant's catching the ride this time, and in the weekly buy. Then we zip over to Euro Turkish lira right there, and that's the second day of a daily buy also. But look at it, the weekly is in a weekly sell, so it's not something you really want to ride too hard. But if you're now, obviously, if you're a importer, exporter, or manufacturer and you need to change your currency, that's a whole different game. But if you're just speculating, it's one of those where you stand to the side and say, okay, let's just do your thing. Don't get too nuts on me. Alrighty, let's see where we at now. So from there, we'll slide over to the Canadian. We'll see what they did with the Canadian, since their GDP did well. It's a little red there. See that? I know we closed in the daily sell yesterday. There's the daily sell right there. But it's lifting back up again. Lifting up. Oop. Let's move that out of the way. So what we're seeing here is, let's see, how do we describe that? I guess what we're seeing here more than anything else is that the dollar Canadian is lifting. And are they selling oil down? So we'll put oil first on J4X. Right there. Looks green to me. 82.25. I think that's a little bit higher. That's spot. So then what we'll do is we'll switch it over here. Yeah, just up a little bit from yesterday. 82.23. And then you can see, second day of daily buy. But look at the weekly. Weekly's still feeling that pressure. Yeah, so, and then we flip it around and we put Canadian up on J4X. Right there. And just moving down a little bit, which is what it should be doing, really. And that is that, it should be going down. But unfortunately, at the moment, you can see here on Chicago Quant, it is up for the day, but still in a sell. Made it into the sell yesterday. And it's hanging in there by a chinny chin. Let's see, let me just double check that, make sure it did get in there. So, yeah, made it into the sell yesterday. So, the action in the Canadian at this point in time is just exactly that. It's just going kind of sideways. Let's see. Then, there's one other thing too. I finally put together the spreadsheet correctly. So, you know what? Let me just double check that. See if we can put it up on the screen, where we show the amount of sells and buys and all that stuff. So where's that? I go back like that. I'm going to try to move it over to this computer real quick. Let's see, what is it? Inbox? No, set. That's what it is. There we go. Forward. Let's see if it jumps up on our screen here. There we go. All right, now we'll try to get it up on the screen here. Let's see. We won't leave it up there like we used to do, but what we could do is we could put it up on the screen every so often and refer to it, which is kind of cool, Opening it now. go. And sign in. Let's see if it'll do it. I'm using the open file. Let's see. So in other words, what do they call it? I'll tell you what I'm using. I pay for Microsoft twice all the time every year as a rental. Yeah, Open Office I'm using. Let's see how this goes. And yes, there it is. Okay, so there we are now. Without the lines, but I don't care. So there is, I really cleaned it up nice too. So there is 4x. We have it all? I guess we do. How about that? Yeah, there's all the way down to there. So in Canadian, we've been 5 weeks in a weekly buy and 1 day in a daily sell. That's it right there now. The Canadian, I highlighted it. Let's see if it comes up on the screen that way. Yeah, there you go. So that's going out now. I finally got around to it. I did it this morning out of nowhere. And I'm not sure why it doesn't show the lines, but it's much more clearer. That's for sure. So it starts off with the 3 grains and then crude oil. You can see there. 2 weeks in a sell. I got the columns better too. Look at this. Made everything look clearer. Look at that. Weeks in buy, weeks in sell, days in buy, days in sell. That'll go out now every night instead of that just montage on the sheet. I was at my son's yesterday. He was like, I can't read that thing. It's all right, I'll put some time into it. So no one gives me feedback and complains. If people would give me feedback and complain, I would do something about some of this stuff. The governor of Florida is talking. All right, so we can put that back over to there. But we've got it again now. Then, let's see. So there's November crude. Let's go over to, we'll go to gold. And there's gold. Gold's moving back down again. It's like, jeez. Didn't anybody tell them there's inflation? And we'll put the South African rand on the, where is that? Right there. No, that's currency we do not talk about. There it is. There's the rand. South African rand. It's trying to move down a little bit. So we're seeing that pressure. We see gold moving down here. So normally that would push the South African rand up. Let's see where the South African rand is. Not through the hinkies. Let's see right there. Yeah, so it's doing the same thing. It's moving up. It's losing, which makes sense. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to go up when the gold goes down. And that's what's going on there. Now, let's see what else we got. Just make sure I can hear myself. Good. I hear myself. Let's see. From there, we go over to. Let's see. So we did. We go to the Japanese yen. So let's check out the Japanese yen. Right there. Yen's holding up really firm. There's a small opinion I want to call it. There's a small attitude in the trading community that Japan could be a problem. I doubt it. But what they're worried about is if Japan starts to sell the bonds that they have to prop themselves up. I would think the Federal Reserve would lend them money against the bonds. That's the way I think it would play out. For free. So in other words, they don't need to sell they're the largest holder of foreigners in U.S. bonds. Japan is first, China is second. Then it spreads out. Americans are the largest single holders of American bonds. We own 47% of all our bonds. You know, like the public institutions, so forth and so on. Then we don't even know what the federal government owns. But that's a whole different story. But we own almost half of our debt. That's the only reason why they're willing to allow us to be the world reserve currencies. We have skin in the games, as they would say. So Japan has 10% of U.S. bonds, and the United States owns 50% of U.S. bonds. The public does. China is a little less. It's like 0.9% they own of American bonds. It's almost 10% also, but Japan is bigger. All right, from there, we go to the Mexican peso, right there. And peso is banging around in this area. Kind of, it was interesting. They hit the 50 percentile and stalled itself right there. And that's what the green line is. And now it's playing with the 0.76. So it went from 0.50 to 0.76. You can see we're in a daily sell since yesterday's slide down right there. There we are. And that is pretty much the name of the game there with the Mexican peso. That kind of completes our adventure in currency land. But if anybody cares to, see something, just shout it out. No problems. And then let's see, where do we go from there? We go over to let's see, that's the stock indices right there. But let's go over to what's left over. Okay, so there's metals market. So we'll look through the metals complex. So there's gold moving down. Let's put silver up there. There's silver on J4X. You see the pressure on that. It's not in a daily buy. It showed some volatility signal. We got a red and a green. And, we got two days now of developing red and green. We'll see if that brings some volatility to this whole market. I myself, everybody knows here, I've been looking for the metals complex to try to put a bottom into the late September, October period. We think the election will do it. Maybe they're going to drag it out a little bit longer, but I would think that they should have some buying. We should look how just the weekly is. It's riding in between the two manifolds right there, and it's right underneath the line. And I'd like to see some more strength in it. And we see it get into the weekly buy. We get into weekly buy, you just got to assume that, especially if platinum is in a weekly buy, you have to assume that we'll see some real pressure on the upside. All right, now let's see. Let's go over to trying to think. From that we go to copper. So let's see what copper is doing. Copper. And there's copper. December copper giving us a volatility signal after getting into that daily buy yesterday. The weekly needs some work. It's only been a daily, weekly sell since Friday here. And it went down for a couple of days, and now we're turning up. So I don't know. There was a sighting of Xi, the president for life, Xi, in China. He was in some art exhibit or something yesterday. So that's a good sign. Not in handcuffs, so that's even better. Funny how he's hidden out. So obviously things are not as good as it should be. And let's just see what the platinum's doing, since we're very close to this action here. Platinum is trying to push its way into the daily buy, and that weekly again is lifting up. Look at that right there. And we got the green line coming through the manifolds themselves, and the histogram is very close, and we'll see if they get through this. It's today's Thursday, so we got a shot at a weekly buy on the close if they put some buying into this between today and tomorrow. As you can see, they made a high right there. And I think we will be soon moving over to the what will we be moving over to? We'll be moving over to the January contract soon. So, all right. Let's see what else we got to say. Not much more about that when it comes to the metal complex. Does anybody else care? If not, oh, let's put copper up on J4X2 right before we leave. There's copper. So it's trying to lift up too. You got a big green there. The green line's through the dashed line. So there's some buying going on. And if Chi is not in jail, that's always a positive thing. Now, what we do is we go over to... Where do we go over to? From there we go to the energy sector. And there's spot crude on Chicago. Right there. Let's put North Sea right there. There's Brent. 88. Look at it go. It's starting to lift and lift and lift and lift. Where is everyone? I don't know. It's, you know, Thursdays or Tuesdays get this way sometimes, or is it Mondays? It's rare for consistency. You know, it just is. I guess, you know, when you're this accurate, you know, they can tune in every other day. You know, I mean, who knows how people trade? You know, I know how I trade, but I mean, a lot of people are intraday traders, or, you know, and we don't get the questions, you know, which is surprising, but, you know, and then sometimes, you know, then, you know, what's always interesting though is when you see the how many people are watching after the fact. You know, it's a lot. You know, I see 35, 45, 50 sometimes watching the video. So then from crude, let's take a look at the back month crude, Jan. Right there. See, it's trading at, what's it, 80? Where are we at? So we're at 82, is it? 82.72. So I'd imagine the back month is trading at 81 or something like that. Let's see. 80.69. So there's a $2 discount. Interesting. So that's pretty aggressive, and you can see it's in daily buy for a second day. The manifold still kind of looking anemic. Let's go back to spot just for a second to look at the manifold. Yeah, see, they need to do a lot more work to get this stuff into the buy. And then we go over to, we're going to put up the natural gas from Spain, just because it's in euros and we can get a flavor of what's going on over there. That's the only way we can identify anything on Europe until Janos gets, oh my God, look at that, 24.26. What a smash. It was 25.22, down a full whole point. What's he? Biden was being weird. He was asking for somebody that was dead. Where are they? It was at not a news conference. He was announcing something in the White House, and he was talking on a stage, and he started asking where a particular congresswoman was, and she died in a car accident about 4 months ago. Is she here today? He was asking. He was asking live. Oh my God. Let's see. Let's put up natural gas. Here's American natural gas right there. You can see it's moving down. Right there. And then you can see right here, it is on the edge. It's 0, 0, 0s. 0, 0, 0s. Both of them, the histogram and the green line. Let's see. Well, maybe Grandpa ended his life with a dementia a year or so prior to he started calling dead people to congratulate them on their birthdays. You know, Biden's been this way ever, you know, he lives right near me. Yeah, he's only like, 25, 30, he's like 40 kilometers away if he's that far. He's like 30 kilometers away. He's been around here a long time. You know, it's not hard to go somewhere over in Delaware and not actually bump into him half the time. Now that he's president, it's a lot less. But he's been a bozo since I can remember. He's been that way forever. He's been dementia. He stole Neil Kinnock's speeches. He stole Tony Blair's speeches. And he actually published them here in the States like if it was his speech. He just changed a couple words. The guy has been off his rocker for I can't tell you when. It just shows you how absurd the Democrats are that they would put a man like that even in the position of being president. He is a puppet. He's always been a puppet. And he's nasty, too. He's always been nasty. All right, so that's nat gas in the States, but look at that on J4X. 24.24 offered. They're pushing that thing down a whole $1. They must have seen the polls also, like I saw a couple of days ago. Republicans are going to smash in the election. Smash. They can't even steal enough votes to stop this action. It's going to be... I just want that veto-proof majority because then basically Kevin McCarthy will be president of the United States. Biden can stay in Delaware. He stays in Delaware. He's the most... In the last 2 years, he's only been in Washington like 109 days. He spends 3 and 4 days a week in Delaware, in one of his states. He's got like 3 or 4 of them over there. And state is too small to have 3 or 4 states, honestly. But end result is that he's not. He won't even show up in Washington if we get the supermajority. I have no reason to. It'll be like Jefferson, President Jefferson left like I think they had a supermajority working against him in the House, and he left halfway or 2/3 through his 7th year, I guess it was. And so I don't think he ever came back. So I mean, he just when you have a supermajority in the House, the opposition, there's nothing you can really do to stop them. I mean, you can complain, you can use the bully pulpit as they call it, where he gets out there and talks. But Jefferson had been president for the first 4 years, after Washington, after the 8 years of Washington, and Jefferson got to a point where he just kind of walked away from it. I mean, he just walked away. Didn't show back up. Just went back down to Virginia and just didn't show up for a year and a half. Let's see. Then natural gas. So that's it. We're done the energies. Let's go take a peek at the stocks and see what the stocks are doing. So we're going to put there's the intraday. So there's the Tech 100 right there, down 176. There is the S&P 500 down 43. There's the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 271. And there is Bitcoin. Bitcoin down 310. Let's see, what was the outlook for... Oh, here, I'll put it back up. Oh, let's put it up. There we go. And there is the euro. It's the second day in the buy, but it is down a little bit. And the weekly, look at that. It's playing with the manifold, getting close. It's trying. It is trying to get above the minus side of the manifold. God, that would give it a shot next week to get into a buy. That could. Over here on J4X. Right there. It's got a green going on. And the line is through the dashed. So they're buying it. They're nibbling. There's nibbling going on. What else can they do, really? They need to do something. I mean, to me, just in a general point of view, I would assume that the dollar's... If we get a supermajority, I think the dollar sells off. I think that's what happens. Still in a weekly sell. And I did fix my... my son told me yesterday, I can't read that damn way you put all the buys and sells are in. So I fixed that too. So we can, I'll show it to you. It's like that now. It comes with the lines on it, but when I open it up right now, it doesn't want to show me the lines. But that's all right. So you can see, like in this case here, you can see there's the euro right there. And the headlines are better. Days sell, days in buy, weeks in sell, weeks in buy. So euro is 6 weeks in a weekly sell and 1 day in a daily buy right there. Right there. See that? Oh, let's see if we can make it bigger. There we go. How's that? That might help out. So that's the one that'll go back out tonight to everybody that likes getting it for free. All right. From there, what else can we do? Oh, yes, we're looking at the stock indices. We're going to take a look at the S&Ps. How do I bring this back down again? How did I make that smaller? No, it's even bigger. Okay, so I'll go like that. There we go. Oh, I see what's going on. That's what it is. There we go. Let's see. Yano says, put me in your list. Yeah. Okay, I will. The private mail so that I can see it on my phone. Exactly. Exactly. I will do that. Let me copy that real quick. Let's see, copy. Let me email that to myself. Compose. Paste. Paste. There we go. All right, cool. Let's see. I'll email to myself. And this way I will not forget it. There we go. Now, let's get back to the stock indices. Yeah, so there they are. Oh, there's lifting them again still. So, good. So the Dow's only down 222. I don't think, if these things are not down 1,000 points, on the Dow, to me, it could bounce back any given time. I always feel that way. 400 points down means nothing in that thing. And you can see here the S&Ps are down 36 now instead of 37. Oh, 36 compared to down 44 just a few minutes ago. You see it went into the little buy here. Now let's take a look at the daily on that. So go right there. Right there. There it is. It missed going into a daily buy yesterday. You can see it's down. If they can push this thing up into the plus, you can see how close it's inside the manifold. We got a good shot at seeing this thing turn around, and we start to kind of nibble. Yeah, they did. They took out that 57, which was what, right there? Or I think it was, where was the 57? Was it there? Yeah, right there. On Monday, it made new lows. It took out that 60 number from a couple months ago in June. And so then yesterday, they took it down to 635. No, 2 days ago, they took it down to 635. Yesterday, the low was, there you go, 652. They made another new low yesterday at 652. And today, they're holding up pretty well. If they start doing some, funds like to look at, hedge funds and, and general funds really, like to look at when you get finished off a second quarter confirmed with recession, they start thinking, now start your dollar cost averaging. That's how that usually works. And so it looks like everything hit a new low on the U.S. GDP. Yeah. Well, now money will start to think about getting in. That's usually the way it plays itself. Investors like to, they want it pretty ugly before they really throw some money at anything, because they know it. They can put collars on and collect dividends at worst case scenario. All right, so from there, we'll go to the NQs. Let's put them up on intraday really quick to get a better flavor. There they are there. You can see they've been climbing since the numbers came out. Let's see, where's it at? This is where, let's scrunch it up a little bit. There you go, there's the low right there at the beginning of the webinar. From the economic news, I slammed it down. That's the webinar starting. The webinar started right here, actually. And so they started slamming it down. And then they put a bottom in I guess, the first 6 minutes after the webinar started at 8:36. And that was the low on the NQs, or the Tech 100. You can see it's been climbing, or fighting the climb, and building a base in here on an intraday basis. You can see it's weakening at the moment, but nothing major. And then let's get back to the daily. So the daily, closing the daily buy yesterday. You can see here the weekly is trying to get through the manifold. And if they take this stuff up today, which wouldn't surprise me if they took it up. Let's see. And now is the recovering prior to the market open. Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like it. Okay. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. Now, let's see. So that's, I guess that's about it. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So there is the where's that? Right there. So it's down a little bit too. Let's put the intraday up there so you can see it. The same situation. This is where the webinar started, right, basically right here. News came out, they slammed it down, and you can see it's come all the way back to where they started from. Now, let's put the daily up there. There you go, there's the daily. And look at that, same thing as like silver, you know, hanging right underneath. Right underneath. When's the last time we've seen something like that? Right here. 2 weeks in a weekly sell. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a daily sell. I'm sorry, daily sell. Let me go back to the weekly. That's daily. Forget about that. Well, maybe not. Maybe they're going to do that. They're going to, you know, maybe they're going to get it to go. They get it to go. Let's see, what was that like? What was that, a major top? That was the August. So we had a major bottom in June. They ran it up, took out the June high, but then rolled over again. So that pressure, I don't know, it's like right on the edge. You know, they're trying to buy it again. All right, let's check out Bitcoin. There is Bitcoin. Let's see what they did with that at the beginning of the noise. See, 9. So here it is, right. Started right here with the bad news coming out. There's 834, 831, right around here. Okay. Yeah, so that was it right there. They sold it down like the stock market, and then they've been lifting it up. Would be nice to see it. I guess it's right around in here somewhere. What's that? There it is, right there. And right there was. So it's right around in here. So it's just got up to it, just like the others did, the stock indices. And let's see if it builds a base and goes up like that, and we get some strength out of it. And you can see here, it's in a sell right here, but it's not really falling down that much. So if it gets into the buy, maybe we'll get some legs on it. Now let's look at the daily. Right. Where's it at? Right there. So the 30th is tomorrow. So I thought Friday. Okay, let me just double check here. I was a little confused. Yeah, so last day of the month is the Saturday is the 1st. That's what it is. Okay. So you can see here they've been in a daily buy for, was it 2, 4, 6 days? Right. Bitcoin right there. So 6 weeks in a sell and 6 days in a buy. So I'll move that out of the way right there. And then what else we got going on? Is that even showing it today? Yeah, right there. Okay. So the weekly's looking pretty aggressive. Look at that right there. Be interesting to see how. I think we'll get October up on the charts for tomorrow. So we'll have October to look at. And that's pretty much the stock or the equity universe, I guess you could say. I'm trying to think, what did we talk about today? I don't think there was much to be said, really. Biden bouncing around being Biden. Nothing there. I guess, we could say recession official. The recession is official now. So I guess we could say that. An official recession we're in. Interesting. There's some odd. Some are saying a couple hundred died in the storm, and the governor is saying there's only 2 at this point. So it'll be interesting how they figure that one out. All right. So we're going to get out of here. We will catch everybody tomorrow on TGIF, and I think the title will be today. Let's see, recession. That could be. I guess that's about the best one of all. Recession is official. All right, this is Doc from North America. Catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders.